Well, old Dodge truck, I guess you're going to sit one more day because we're going to do something fun today. We're going to build a race engine. Oh, hey guys, how you doing? Bruce, this is what we do. Hey, let me get you in the shop here. Today we're going to be putting together our Chrysler Small Block 360. I haven't shown you a lot, but I've got a 66 Plymouth Valiant in the car trailer there. And we had some engine problems last year. And if you looked at old videos, you probably saw that. Well, my son found a good block, and we just recently got it back from the machine shop. It's been bored 30 over, so that makes that Chrysler 360 a 365. We got an Eagle crank for it, Eagle rods, Icon pistons, a lot of good stuff, but we just got to put it together. So I'm waiting on some of the pieces, but we're going to take you inside here and show you how we put a crankshaft in. Okay, so here's our engine block, and like I say, it's just fresh back from the machine shop. And before we put the crankshaft in, we've got to do a few things. For one, it's a two-piece rear main seal, which fits in this groove right here. We have to install that. We've got some main bearing studs that we want to put in the block. The two main bearing bolts in the back, they'll actually be bolts. And these are all fasteners from ARP, so they're high-strength bolts, good stuff. And just got finished cleaning those a little while ago because they come packed with oil. So we're going to go ahead and start putting those down in here and get things started. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is add just a little bit of thread locker. I'm just using the blue, and the reason why I'm using the blue is I don't want them permanently locked into the engine, but I don't want them to walk out either. And we just screw those in finger tight. And as you can see, the bubbles, we're going to come back in a few minutes and just double check that. Sometimes certain passages like that may have some trapped air in it. So we want to give it a few minutes. Actually, I did that wrong. This is supposed to go over here. Take this out. These are bolts, not studs. So we're going to go ahead and put the studs in first. These back two, they're just bolts. They're ARP bolts, so they're a good fastener. Like I say, we're just going to put those in hand tight. Put a little more thread locker on, and we don't need a ton of thread locker, just enough to keep it from coming out if it were to come out. Of course, if it comes out, we've got a lot more problems than just bolts loosening. We've probably got a whole engine we need to fix. So go ahead and screw these down in there. Like that, finger tight. And yeah, like what I did off camera, all these bolts are packed in kind of like an oil, like a Cosmoline. Like firearms, when they're transported, they'll spray Cosmoline all over them. It's kind of like a thick oil, and you got to clean all that off because the thread locker won't grip to oil, and if you were to have a bunch of oil on there when you thread it in, it could hydrolock on you. In other words, when you tighten the bolts up, you're tightening up against them like a hydraulic pressure head, and as the engine heats and cools, that can actually cause the bolts to loosen, and we don't want any bolts loosening. And as far as the studs go, I'll show you here in a second. I'll grab a factory main cap bolt, and you'll see a huge difference. Let me get this one in. I'll save those last two for a minute. So this is a factory main cap bolt, and they're good bolts, but they're not a high tensile strength like these. And we replaced all of those because of the high performance nature we're going for. We want them to last. Okay, so now we're going to go back and check all these. I got a little bit more on that one. And they do have a Allen head slot in all these. You can tighten them up more, but the paperwork said hand tight, so I'm going to do what it says. The main bearings, just making sure they're flush. We've already had this together once, checking our fitment. This is a little high. You just push this down a little bit like that. And if you notice, the bearing in the middle is kind of unique. It's the thrust bearing. It's what sets the forward and reverse thrust of the crankshaft. So it actually has a bearing surface on the side of the bearing, as opposed to these, it's just in the pocket of the bearing. And then also, if you can see, each one of the bearings have a hole in it. Well, as the oil comes from the oil pump, it comes through the hole and it fills this oil gallery in the middle of the main bearing, and that's what lubricates it. Then on the crankshaft, there's drilled holes in it, and you'll see that in a minute. Those holes feed the connecting rod bearings as it rotates. So it's kind of neat. So I got this cleaned out. Just got to finish cleaning this with brake clean. Well, let me get this off here. That's just a little bit of residual thread locker. I don't want that. Okay. So these rear main seals are a little bit different. They're two-piece. Some of you may have worked with single piece, but there's actually two of these, 2 half moons. And if you look carefully, one side of the lip seal is thick, one is thin. According to the paperwork, it says make sure the thick side is towards the engine, this way, not away from the engine, towards the engine. So let me just set this over here for a second. What I'm going to do, we're not going to coat the whole seal with this Permatex. This is only being put in there for one reason, and that's to make sure it were not to slide for any reason. And we're just kind of like staking it in with this. We're not going crazy, just a little bit all the way on the edges. Because when we torque this down, this will mash out. We don't want silicone going all over the place like that. So this goes down in this groove like that. And it may ride a little high. That's okay. Because when you go to put the cap on, the cap's going to compress that. And I'm going to take a moment just to push out some of this excess like that. And let's see, where's my assembly lube? So whenever you put these crankshafts in, they have to have some pre-lube on them. So that's what we're going to do, pre-lube all the bearings again. And this main seal needs a little wipe of oil or assembly lube all across its surface. Reason being is when the crank's spinning, it'll actually generate friction, heat, and it could burn the steel up. So we're trying to be safe here. All right, so we got our main seal in, bearing in. Oh, let's throw a little more lube because it's gonna not come apart anytime soon. So I'm gonna throw a little bit more lube in here. This stuff's really sticky. It's almost like cotton candy, sticky. Just splash around a little bit here and here. Because this is the only lubricant it's going to get for the first maybe 15-20 seconds till the engine primes up. But in our case, we're actually going to prime the engine with a special shaft that actually goes down in the engine and spins the oil pump. And we're going to build oil pressure long before we start it. And then once we start it, we'll let the cam break in and get some heat in the engine. We'll do bunch of heat cycles, but that'll be later on down the road. That's gonna be a little while. When I blew up that engine, I blew up a lot of good parts, and money doesn't grow on trees these days, as we all know. All right, so let me reposition the camera here just a little bit so I don't trip over with the crankshaft. And here we go. And this dude is heavy. Okay. Very hard to juggle. So that's in, that's in, that's in. Okay, good. So now, the main caps. Take the factory bolts out. The main caps are all numbered. As you see, this is number 1. So we're going to check this bearing. This one looks like it needs a little more lube on it. So let's get a little bit of lube going in here. All right. Looking for my shop rag. There we go. Okay, bearing seated, bearing seated. Drop this on here. Like that. Now, some people flinch when you do this, but you've got to put these caps on there nice and square because it's a machined surface. And the easiest way to do that is kind of just bap it on there. There it goes. It's seated. Yep, it's seated. It looks crude, but we're just using a dead blow. And now we've got some washers to put on here. Now, ARP's got their own special lube for this. So let me tear this open. You know how when you tighten a bolt, you can hear it squeaking and jerking and popping and carrying on? Well, this eliminates that. Let's get this stuff to come out. So it's just time consuming. All right, so we'll put that one down. That. Take the next one. This one. Put this one down. Give a little twist. Make sure it's got some lube underneath of it there. Now, the nuts. Special nuts. Ow! Just got a staple on the finger. Okay. Ouch. Have to edit that out. All right. So just get a little lube on the bolt. Oh, let me check one thing real quick. Okay. Yeah, I thought so. It said lubricate the threads a little bit. So get a little bit on my finger here. You don't want a ton. I thought it said lube the threads, but wasn't sure. And we'll just take these down hand tight. Like that. A little lube on this. Make sure we got lube on the threads here. And take this hand tight. All right, so at this point, you pretty much got the idea of what I'm doing. So I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of this put together. I'm going to come back for the last main cap because that's the one with the ceiling that might be a little more interesting. And we'll pick up from there. Okay, everybody. Hope you enjoyed today's video. Hopefully there's some few things you picked up along the way. Just take your time, read the directions, and enjoy it. It's your project. Right now, I've got to go change the battery in my '04 Dodge truck, but this is what we do. We'll see you soon.